are I'm not going to take no for an answer developer James Adamson, who's also a sponsor today of this event. Our fearless contractors, B&G Builders, thank you so much for an outstanding building. Our fantastic architect, Gunnar Langhaus. And of course, thanks to all of you who gave money and moral support and helped make this project happen. In 2 weeks, we move into what will be our largest clinic when that opens in the new Regional Service Center, and we'll begin expanding access to services in Portland right away. So thanks again to all of those of you that made this building happen. And thanks also to our staff and volunteers who really deserve to work in a facility like this one. This is worthy of your efforts. I also want to do a shout out to Karen Peterson, who helped organize this luncheon and event. Karen, once again, thanks for bringing us all together. Now, I want to tell you a story about a couple of patients that we saw recently in one of our health centers. A mother and daughter came in. They made their appointments for annual exams together. And it was wonderful to see this as a family event. And the mother and daughter made this appointment together. They were seen in separate exam rooms by our wonderful providers, but they finished about the same time. And they both came out to check out, and they were saying thank you for the care that they'd received. They were also especially appreciative of the fact that because they were both unemployed and without health insurance, we weren't going to charge them anything for their services that day, because of course the goal is to provide service even for those who can't afford to pay. But at the time of checkout, our staff have been trained to ask our patients if they would like to make a donation to support the work of Planned Parenthood and to help other women and girls receive services who can't afford them either. And the mother turned and looked at the daughter and nodded her head, and she opened her purse. Now, I imagine her purse was kind of like my briefcase. There was a lot inside, and as she started to look for some money inside, she realized that wasn't going to work. And she turned the purse upside down and shook it, and some nickels and dimes and quarters and a dollar bill fell out. And she said to her daughter, "Let's give them all we've got." And they made a donation. They joined thousands of other patients who make donations every year. And last year, our patients, and I think this says a lot about the quality of care that we provide, our patients were a major donor and contributed $250,000 to Planned Parenthood. So part of my job here today is to not only thank you, but to tell you how you can help to continue the great work of this organization. You're already spending $75 to join us here today for lunch. If you round that up to $100, the extra $25 will pay for a year's worth of contraceptives for one of our patients. If you give $100, you'll purchase 1,000 condoms. Imagine the joy that you can spread with that gift. These are on your table. Just touch it and think about that gift. If you give an extra $150, you'll pay for an annual exam for a woman in Salem or perhaps in Bend. If you give an extra $350, you'll purchase an IUD or a vasectomy. I like to refer that as the gift that stops giving. And a $1,000 gift, and we have a number of very generous $1,000 sponsors today. $1,000 will support the work of a teen peer educator in her school for a full year. You also have a choice on this donor envelope that's on your table of giving monthly. And so perhaps the gift that you were thinking about making today, you could give 4 times a year or once every month. Check the box. We'll do the rest for you. And you know that we have this wonderful donor who anonymously is giving us $10,000, matching all of those gifts, whether they are for condoms or for education programs. Now, 25% of the women in the United States have used a Planned Parenthood for their health care. So you know why our patients are so grateful to the work that we do. And I'm not asking you today to follow suit for the woman and her daughter who gave us all they got. But I am asking you to think as big as we are thinking about the future of women and girls in Oregon, and to do something important today, to make a gift that will make you feel as good as the mother and daughter felt when they dumped their purses upside down and gave us all they've got. One more reminder, if you haven't had a chance to vote, please vote today. It's really important. And again, thank you so much for being here. It's my pleasure now to introduce our guest speaker. Sheryl WuDunn is the Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and author who reported from inside of the toughest regimes in the world, from Myanmar to North Korea. As a foreign correspondent for the New York Times, Sheryl covered China and won a Pulitzer with her husband, Nick Kristof, for their coverage of the Tiananmen Square democracy movement in Beijing and the military crackdown that ended it. As a banker, Sheryl has a deep knowledge of finance and the global economy. With a background in banking and an MBA from Harvard University, she was the lead correspondent for The Times, covering the Japan financial crisis that has informed so much of our thinking about our current financial woes. Her experience trekking throughout Asia over the years, along with reporting her husband has done as an op-ed columnist for The Times, led the two of them to research and write Half the Sky, From Oppression to Opportunity of the Women Worldwide. As Saskia suggested, if you haven't read the book, it's a must-read. We have copies available outside at a table, and Sheryl has graciously offered to sign them for you, so there's really no excuse for not having a copy of the book and for reading it. Sheryl has also won other journalism prizes, including the Polk and Overseas Press Club Awards. She's graduated from Cornell University. In addition to her MBA, she went to Princeton, where she got an MPA degree at the Woodrow Wilson School. Again, please join me in welcoming Sheryl WuDunn, author of Half the Sky.